Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you and we ask, Lord, for our hearts to be in tune with you. And Father, our wisdom would come from you. Lord, we ask, God, that you would be with those who serve our community and our county, those that are working every day in fire and EMS and law enforcement, and for those that, Father, give of their time, even after hours, to do things for the folks of Hendry County. And Lord, we just thank you, and we ask you to bless this meeting in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
This is a regular meeting of the Hendry County Board of County Commissioners being held Monday, March 13th, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the City Commission Chambers in Clewiston, Florida. In attendance are Chairperson Emma Byrd, Vice Chair Mitchell Wills, Commissioner Emery Howard, Commissioner Raymond Iglesias by phone, Commissioner Carson Turner, Interim County Attorney Edward Dion, County Administrator Jennifer Davis, and Deputy Clerk Sharon Congleton.
Thank you. This is Board of County Commissioner meeting. I ask if anyone have a phone or electronic, they will put it on mute, please. And if you wish to speak, if you would get a card and take it to the clerk. And we ask that you respect the 3 minutes that's put in place. Before we begin, we have Iglesias Raymond on the phone. Iglesias, and I need permission, need to have a vote to see if everybody's okay with him voting.
You just want a motion or
We need a motion.
Yeah, that's all we need.
motion to allow Commissioner Iglesias to vote during tonight's meetings?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you so much. There is nothing up under bids at this time. We're gonna go down to the agenda. Need a motion for the agenda, please?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented, or a motion to approve consent? I'll make a motion to approve consent.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, I'm sorry. Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Wills. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. So we're down to the staff. See that screen? Mr. Parker? Thank you so much.
Thank you. For the record, Shane Parker, Public Works Director. Seeking permission to purchase a Komatsu hydraulic excavator. A couple years ago, we surplus one. We rent one from time to time, but we really need to
Make a
buy
motion to
one.
approve the option as presented and go. Shane, you like that company? Y'all have done business with them. You don't want to go with Dobbs?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Make a
And
motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Wills. All in favor?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just want to make sure, you like them too?
Huh?
You like them too?
I'm good.
Okay, because last time I did this, we got all sideways with Everglades versus Creel versus something else.
No.
And you brought up very valid points, and I was like, well, dadgummit, I should have let the boys do what the boys wanted to do. And I think we ultimately did right thing, but anyway.
Yes, we did. We split the
Okay.
baby. There will be an agenda item coming back with financing. We're gonna get a loan, but this will get us started. Thank you.
Put a chunk down.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Hey, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just for discussion's sake, you don't have to get up. What's the lead item? What's the lead on it, or is it sitting on the ground? Are you going to be able to? 6 weeks. Oh wow. Yeah, that's shocking. Good deal. Okay.
Next up is,
Miss Birdie's going to get it. They're not going to do anything with it.
we're not gonna do anything.
They ain't gonna
with it?
clean no ditches.
I think they will. They might not clean yours, they gonna clean mine.
See, there you go.
Ms. Davis?
Yes, Mr. Pastula is here from the EOC, and he's got a report that I emailed out late last week
that,
about the
yeah.
generator status. Just to put this into a little bit of perspective while he's getting everything up and going, we are in need of ordering the jail generator quickly. We have one on loan from the state, and we need to get that ordered ASAP. However, I didn't want to come to you and ask for that without looking at the whole Hendry County situation from generators that we've been talking about for a long time holistically. You'll remember with our COVID dollars, we still have money set aside for generators, and our proposal fits within with a little bit of wiggle room while we're waiting waiting on some of the estimates to work with it to be 100% paid out of COVID dollars. Everything, depending on what you decide tonight, will come back to you at the time of purchase for final purchase. So, thank you, Bob.
Madam Chair, everybody looked at the proposal?
Yep.
First off, thank you. Thank y'all for doing this. This is awesome. Could you cut right to the one that shows us the volume of generators and the KWs associated with each? That'll actually work right there. Yes, sir. My question for you, Mr. Bob, is so are these the only facilities that you're going to want something at? I got a little bit confused, and I'm glad we're having this discussion, because let me tell you where I was running at it with. You've probably heard me get on my soapbox a little bit before about this, and as we look at Clueston Middle School, where it's at on the strategic intermodal system with Highway 2780, we look at Clueston High School being a little bit off the beaten path. I always look at those two as Clueston High School being one that'll serve mostly local, and Clueston Middle School being something that would serve, out-of-towners. However, we're not allowed to discriminate like that, number one. Number two, I know that with Clueston Middle School being in that flood zone, that creates an issue as well. I think that we could get ourselves written out of that. Neither here nor there. When you look at the KWs that you have associated with each, did you do that with staff, or did y'all have a nerd from LJ Power help you? What happened there? What'd y'all do?
What you see on the right-hand side is just the trailerables that we have at the EOC. So everything on the left is our critical infrastructure. So we have the courthouse right now. We have a 60-kilowatt generator. EMS LaBelle has a generator. All the fire departments have one. The Noble Center, which is our special needs shelter, has a generator. The admin building has one, and the sheriff's annex has one. So all those are functioning generators, with the exception where it says unknown trailer generator. Mm-hmm. And I've had some difficulty getting that one fixed. And the question came in from Commissioner Rowdy Howard today about whether we're going to put it at Fort Deneau Bridge or where we're going to put it at the airport. The idea is the unknown trailer generator would eventually go to Fort Deneau Bridge. So that's what we have that works right now. And that's at the EOC. We run them every month, and we make sure that they're functioning properly.
Do we run them, or do we have an outside vendor that runs them?
No, we run them.
Okay.
I have Adrian Dams. He goes and visits all the sites and makes sure everything's up and running.
Awesome. These are the only ones that we have on a routine schedule.
No, they're all on a routine schedule, but some of them are not functioning. They're just too old, don't work.
So I apologize for asking me. When you say some of them, are you saying some of these?
No.
Or not? No. Okay.
I know I'm not probably being clear. I didn't put some of the generators on.
Yep.
Like we have generators at all of the radio towers.
Yes, sir.
None of those work.
Yep.
Okay. We have some other generators that just laying around that are not functioning. I think there's some. We have some at.
Mr. Spatcher, let me ask you a question. When you say don't work, they don't work on the engine side, or they don't work on their producing? Have we put a load bank on them, or do we know?
They're not hooked up to anything. They're old military.
But they don't have the skill set to actually run anything.
Right.
Okay.
Are them the ones that you picked up?
Those ones we got from North Florida Fire probably 5-6 years ago. Yes, ma'am, they were got from Tallahassee. While you're on the trailer generators, which one of those is the Generac? Yeah, you have trailered on there, but there's a Generac. We have a couple hundred KW generators, and I don't see them on there. That Generac's one that usually sits in the middle school in LaBelle.
That's the top one.
That's designated for it. Which one?
Oh,
75 kilowatt.
the
That is
75
Generac
KW
that you
trailer
have on
generator?
Fort Deneau Bridge or Fort Deneau Bridge Department?
Okay.
This is where this is not where they're. This is what I envision putting them.
Putting
should
them
be
there.
an emergency.
Gotcha.
Okay, because that is normally your generator that operates the LaBelle Middle
That's why
School.
we want to buy these other ones to put at the schools.
So this is current, so we have another
Gotcha.
slide, couple more slides that talk about
shelters,
other things that are not listed on here, and then the proposal and where everything goes.
So in your
Right now-
proposal, you're just under $1 million.
Correct.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that's $1 million just for acquisition.
And installation.
There's no way you're gonna buy. I'd love to see your hard estimate. I think somebody's.
It's off the sheriff's purchasing agreement. So it's contracted with the state of Florida Sheriff's Cooperative Purchasing Agreement.
That's what I was saying today, though. These costs, you gotta understand, that $300,000, you're gonna buy the 350 kW generator for your courthouse.
That's not gonna be installed.
No way.
There's no way
Well,
anybody can put a 350
they
kW
can't.
in for 300K.
Not with the
That's what they
extent of
told me.
electrical's
I
gotta be
mean,
done.
I don't know, but that's what they told me.
No deal.
And that's two estimates. So we had a local fella that gave us an estimate, which was a little bit higher than off of the sheriff's contract.
Is that tying into what we have now?
No, that's replacing the current system
I understand. Replacing the generator, I understand. that.
and the ATS too.
Okay, I'll transfer switch, sure. But what power are they adding to that? The current system at the jail, at the courthouse now, runs the elections office and the IT portion of the second floor, and that's it.
No, this is to run the entire
So
building.
you've got a lot of electrical got to be done in order to do that. There's no electrical done in order to tie the rest of that building in.
Right. We got the estimates for that. That's
So
part of
that's,
the
so
estimate.
this is not, that wouldn't be the price then, Commissioner Howell?
No, I was gonna say, you still haven't added into that full figure, the
that's not
transfer
correct
switch
price.
and the electrical, hardware, correct?
Right. We might have to buy. We're going to have to buy 3 transfer switches, 2 for the courthouse and 1 for the jail.
That's $250,000 right there. 3 transfer switches.
So that's what he was saying, this
Maybe
is not
150.
the estimate price, it's just.
Not
estimate for
according
the
to
jail.
not according to what the contractor gave me.
Is that contractor LJ Power?
Yes.
Well, he would know.
He's coming down tomorrow to look at, or on Wednesday to look at the to give me a firm estimate on what it's going to take to fix the courthouse, because we have that fire there and everything.
So here's what I'm driving at, Mr. Bob. I think this is an incredible first step in the right direction. I think that and y'all can take offense to this if you want to. I think we've miserably missed the mark as it relates to standby generator power in the county for a number of years. The biggest reason for that is we have 12 people that run everything, right? And then during the doldrums, we cut back every dollars and cents known to man, and we kept everybody gainfully employed. And this was one of the areas that I think that we took our eye off of the ball, so to speak. You talk about these radio towers and all that stuff. You know, I envision a world where we either have a vendor that comes in and they have a spreadsheet that they go in and it's sitting in that room with them, just like the Florida Department of Transportation does on all of the bridges that we work on throughout the state. And it's, you know, Florida Drawbridge gets $1 bajillion a quarter to go through and look at all those, and Ferrovio is competing with them as an asset maintenance contractor. I'm not saying we need to do that, but I think that I want to reiterate, this is a huge step in the right direction. However, I think LJ Power coming in to look at that and telling you, okay, 350 kW at the sheriff's office, 210K, and then guaranteeing you that's got an ATS associated with it. There's a rough, you know, there's going to be an extra 50,000 of fluff, because we have to run X number of conduits to tie this in, and we have a little bit of expansion going on, and this is going to run that chiller and this, that, and the other, and oh, wait, I didn't realize that load was going to have to be on there. And then he bounces right back over to the courthouse and does the exact same thing. What I would love to see is, and I guarantee you already have this, I just haven't had the time nor desire really, because it's not my job to look at this, but it is yours, to know what does the map look like for Hendry County. And then can you guarantee me, for example, Pioneer Fire Department, Pioneer Rec Center, Montura Fire Department, and then you know, another facility that our people can access. I don't know if it's Harlem Civic Center or the Harlem Gymnasium, but if we say, okay, Harlem community specific is going to get bypassed because we can't have people go to Closton High School and we can't have people go to Closton Middle School, and then how does that rotate into LaBelle Middle, LaBelle High, so on and so forth, the health department in LaBelle and all of that. I would love to see that map and then know, okay, we have a catastrophic situation that occurs like what Ian did, right? And it snatches everything off of its foundation. 14 days or 3 days, and you know, power coming back on, we put some blue roofs on some stuff, and we're gonna attempt to get back to a sense of normalcy, and we're gonna be running on a standby generator power for quite some time until we get services built back and all of that stuff. I want to reiterate for the 4th time now in this little soapbox that I'm on right now, this is a heck of a step in the right direction. This is huge. This is so much further than where we've been previously. But here's what happens to us. You tell us $910,000, right? And I see all of the KWs that we're bringing in. But what happens, I think that this number is going to be doubled, Mr. Spatula. I truly think in my mentality of knowing what it takes to put 170 KW on the side of a bridge, and granted, we got to put it on a barge and fly it in and all of that stuff. I tell you, these contractors, they don't get much different, even though you just got to put it on a trailer and take it off with a crane and put it into the side of a building or something. They still, 100K, rule of thumb, when you start looking at how much dollars and cents you can put on per KW versus at an install level, it's usually about double it, you know? So if it's 100K to buy 170 KW, then it's 200K to buy it and install it. It's kind of,
Well, the 170s are trailerable.
yeah.
So we would move them from site to site where they're needed. That was the idea behind those. Now the 350 KWs, he assured me, and he's gonna come and look on Wednesday. But he told me, because he just installed generators for Palm Beach Sheriff's Office and for Polk County Sheriff's Office, and he assured me that that's what his cost is to install them, because
let me ask you
he's
this.
operating underneath that
They
contract
have
with
to
sheriff.
upgrade the wiring? Was any changes made?
No,
to the
that's,
wiring?
I don't know what it's gonna cost at the courthouse. He hasn't looked at that yet. They, Center State?
Center State Bank?
No, Center State, who's that, the fellow that, Dan Katz? Oh, I thought.
Yeah, that's, if you're talking about a mechanic, yes, that's Cats.
Yeah, Katz, he gave me an estimate of $240,000 for that one. I have no idea. That's why I asked, JP Power, LJ Power, come in
LJ Power's renowned.
and look at it. And then I have another guy coming in tomorrow to do the exact same thing. So we're gonna have 3 estimates, but LJ Powers actually can install under the sheriff's contract without going out for bid and stuff.
Madam Chair, to go along with this, something that's always a nightmare, and we're always the ones having it, these locations need to have one type of plug there. So when we pull in with 170 KW, we can plug it in, we're not cutting tails off. We need to make sure that when we do this project, every facility has the same capability of a plug. The plug don't care, electricity don't care. The plug
That's-
could be the same no matter what you're running through it.
That is the intention. Right now,
Need that.
the school district put in the automatic transfer switches, but they're not wired to anything, so there are no plugs right now. So really, that's good for us. All we gotta do is go in and put the plugs, and we can make all the plugs the same. That's the intention.
That needs to happen. The Clueston Middle School, there was points we had to go there, we would drag extension cords from the generator in, because there wasn't wired.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid that. I talked with Ms. Davis about that. We're trying to do this the proper way as opposed to doing things like that.
Well, I hope so, because it sure is very frustrating out there when you're getting blown off the trailer and they're trying to put stuff up. It kinda
So
sucks.
going to the back end of your presentation,
Okay.
what facilities will have an ATS with them, and it's turnkey?
That would be, the turnkey ones would be the sheriff's office and the courthouse. That would be turnkey with the ATSs.
That's it.
That's it, because the other ones are the trailer generators, and they'll be used at the schools with the ATSs that are already there. So we'll have to put a plug in, so they're all the same. But yeah, that's the idea behind it, is that the schools will be.
Why do we not want to have a skid mount at the schools? Why do we not want to do that?
Well, my thought is for versatility. So we may not need them at the schools, but we may need them somewhere else. So we can move those to wherever we need them. But pre-storm, we can pre-station them at the shelters, and if we need them, they're there to use. And if we need them at Air Glades, we can move them there. If we need them at the bridge, we can move them there. If we need them at admin, so wherever we need them, we can move them to if we need to.
To that point, my thoughts are, I just think that those are hubs of activity that they need. We don't need to be contemplating not having, whichever building it is, or whichever 2 or 3 buildings it is, we don't need to be contemplating having something that's a temporary system on those, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But I mean, I'm even saying that if we have to double or triple this up, we need to do it right, because these should be a 25-year asset. This should be a minimal 25 years that we get out of it. I mean, I see it all the time on infrastructure that the FDOT owns and other municipalities. We should not be
It should be
stressed.
stationary. Yeah,
Yes,
they
ma'am.
should be stationary.
Now, I am not saying that we don't still get 3 to 5 trailer mounted generators so that our sewer treatment, lift state, all of that stuff can still happen. Shane, I guarantee you during a storm event, you could use 3 generators blinking your eyes, Central County could have used 2 or 3 generators, without even thinking about it. So on and so on and so forth. So, I'm all about us borrowing things from South Florida Water Management District or the Corps whenever we're gonna do it, but let's be honest with ourselves. If we have an opportunity to acquire off of these dollars and cents and make our other facilities more storm ready, I think we ought to do it. So I'd love to see you meet with your consultants and see what they could recommend. But I want to challenge you now. I want to challenge you that this doesn't come back and it's $1 million or just under $2 million, and then they say, well, we thought you all understood that we were going to have to run X number or more of 350 MCM and put in this to tie into the existing ATS. So really, that's going to raise it another 200,000 or something like that, because it'll do it in the blink of an eye.
And that's the reason I asked them to come down and to look at it, because I was just going by Center State's quotes for right now. But the thought process behind the schools is technically, once the storm is passed and we reopen schools again, those generators are going to be sitting there idle when we could be using them somewhere else, which is my thought process. So we're only going to use them, maybe 4 or 5 days at the school, and then we might need them somewhere else.
We pray to God that we're only 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I'm hoping we never have to use them.
Yeah, exactly. but a generator, if we lose power, the school needs to be operable.
Right. I agree with that. I was wanted to ask a question about the school board. Were they willing to kind of partner in with their facilities and upgrade their transfer switches?
Well, they've already done that. The transfer switches are all new.
They're ready to accept this size generator.
Correct, yes.
So educate me on a turnkey.
Well, I think what the turnkey is, we buy the generator, they install it, it's ready to go.
Okay, I just didn't know what that meant. Commissioner
The,
Iglesias?
oh,
I'm sorry,
sorry.
you're good. Commissioner Iglesias? Guess he left us, so you can continue. I just want to see if he had anything that he wanted to say.
We had approached the school board early on and asked them if they wanted to partner with this, and then they had gotten a grant from the USDA to actually purchase generators and ATS switches for the
1 minute.
schools.
Try to cut you up. I'm sorry, he's calling in.
No, that's fine.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to clear up because somebody had just said, I think Commissioner Howard, that it operates schools. It's just going to operate the gymnasium that we use as shelters, correct?
Correct. At the 2 middle schools, there are 2
Right.
ATS switches.
Right. So if power goes out, it's not operating the school in general on a typical. It's strictly for storms.
Correct. That was the idea behind these trailer bowls, just for
Okay.
storms.
Just making sure.
And I don't agree with that, Commissioner Iglesias. I think that we should be looking at making sure a portion of the cafeteria should be able to be operable, and the climate control capabilities of the gymnasium or a facility that we designate within there, we're able to keep it cool. And we're able to
I
heat water.
agree.
We're able to heat water, and we're able to
Especially
make things work.
cafeteria.
These generators run the air handlers and lights and receptacles only. They do not run the condensers. Their cafeteria at the high school is the only thing that's actually set up, and they had them in the gym when the roof fell in. That was not where they were supposed to be. They were supposed to be in the cafeteria area. These schools, at the middle school, is set up for the gym only. It has nothing to stand alone away from the cafeteria. So when you start looking at these, the gym at the middle school here in Clewiston is the same scenario. Every one of these are set up to strictly run receptacles, some lights, and air handlers. So when you get into this situation, again, I would love to see it go the way we're talking as well, but it's going to be way more dollars than what we're looking at right now to do it. But yes, it is for storm only. Keep this in mind. Those transfer switches at the schools, if they are not automatic transfer switches, you don't want someone that has no idea what they're doing throwing that switch in. So every one of them need to be automatic. At one point, they weren't. So
No, I
if they
was
have changed
told
them,
that the
good.
new ones that they put, I was told today that the new ones that they bought were automatic transfer switches.
I would definitely make sure, because I know there was some that was installed and they were done improperly.
I think I was told Alan tested all these, so.
Alan looked at them, and there was some of them that was done improperly.
Okay, I'll have to check with him. He
Yeah, I
didn't say
revisited
anything
with
to me.
him today. He didn't feel well, so he went home. That's the reason he's not here tonight.
Well, Commissioner Wills, for the courthouse at 350 KW, does that give you 100% operation at the courthouse?
No,
What does it not give you?
I don't think you're gonna run everything there with the chillers included, not with a 350 KW.
I bet you'll run half of the system. We got a split
Maybe.
system. I bet you'll run half of the AC system.
What's
Maybe.
there now?
60 KW, I think.
Yeah, but see, that again,
But it don't
that's
run
just,
everything?
no ma'am, it's only hooked to the elections office and the second floor where the IT room is. That's all that runs.
So the EOC is 350 KW now.
Right.
And the EOC, yeah, you're probably a 700 at the courthouse by the time you're done. You're gonna double that at the courthouse, what you have at the EOC.
But they said that
Yeah,
350.
the study that Center State Electrical did said that the 350s were big enough for the sheriff's office, the jail, and the courthouse.
I don't want to discredit anyone, but I definitely want to hear what this contractor coming in says, because I don't think that's going to float.
Well, and I think that's why Ms. Davis and I took the initiative to get 3 quotes anyways, just to see what everybody says. So like I said, I have one coming in tomorrow to look at both of those sites, and then the vendor for this is coming in on Wednesday.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
so we're still operating on the old chiller, correct?
That is correct.
So
Barely.
if LJ's coming out to inspect everything, I'm curious as to what the new chiller is going to operate on the load versus the new chiller versus the old chiller.
The old chiller is not on the power now. The courthouse does not have AC systems during a storm. The only thing there that has power is the IT room and the elections office, which does not have the condensers. It's air handlers only. They had to put a secondary unit in the IT room to help keep it cool. So just so we're all understanding, there is not, right now, the courthouse is not fully functional under generator power. Only a small portion is.
And from what I was told by another constitutional officer, is there are certain aspects of their operation that they cannot do on the current generator.
They
supply.
can't. The only power there is Ms. Hoots and the IT department. That's it. Nothing else there has power under that generator, for sure.
And I agree with Commissioner Turner. I would like to see the courthouse be able to be as operational for everybody.
It needs to be.
So that was our plan. And so we're gonna get this information just so I can understand just the direction here. The jail.
That's your most pressing item,
Yes.
right, Ms. Davis?
The
Yeah,
jail
we gotta
needs
have
to
something
be, we need to move on the jail
Ms. Davis,
yesterday.
I recommend you snatch it out then. I just to address your concern, I think we snatch it out and we almost make that a separate standalone RFQ, RFP, or whatever y'all want to do there, unless you have another package that you want to add it into already. But they should be able to turn and burn on that. The reason why I say that is the lead time on these, y'all, is exorbitant right now.
I thought we was already in that phase at the jail.
Well,
written one.
it's the state contract is what we have right now. So what I would like to ask for you all to do is to let us move forward with the jail specifically. We would have to come back with a contract with you all before we could actually, procure it anyway. And in that information and contract, we will make sure that the install and that the KW capability is exactly what they're saying, right? What they've told you that it will handle. Obviously, we wouldn't approve it unless it's all in writing as stated. And then secondly, for the courthouse, the guy's coming tomorrow, right? And so you'll get information then, and depending on what that looks like, if it all is coming back the way you understand it, we could continue to make sure, do our due diligence to make sure that everything that they're stating is the way it is, and bring that to you as well. Now, the trailers, my question there is the versatility. I understand, I agree with the statements about in the perfect world that it's best to have them stationary, but if we do that plus get the trailers, we're probably, like you're saying, we're probably doubling. So we have $1 million set aside.
We have 7 figures to do this with, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And so we were also trying to stay within the budget.
Yes, ma'am.
And so sometimes, you know, we have storms that are on the east side, sometimes we have them on the west side. Sometimes we don't always need all our resources throughout the entire county.
Valid point.
And so that's why we were wanting to do the trailers, because it gives us the ability to get these generators, but still do it within the budget that we have, and we're able to move them around. That was our thought process.
And with that being said, I do think that our main source of shelter need to have its own generator, like the high school, LaBelle High School, whether it be Clewiston High School or Clewiston Middle School, and then still have the ones that float. Because
Lewiston High School has a
Has one.
stationary generator,
Okay.
but the LaBelle High School
That's been burning
LaBelle
out for
Middle
years.
There.
and Clewiston Middle do not. I mean, there's one at Clewiston Middle, but it's
And it's
not.
fine to have the ones on the web, but we still need to make sure that down the line that we make sure we have a generator that's stationary at those sites, you know, a permanent stay. So,
Now, with the, just to kind of clear your mind too about the towers, Ryan is working on a permanent system for those. Those need work, not just for generator purposes, but for other communication purposes. And he's been, even as late as last week, out with vendors looking at that to get permanent solutions for all of the towers for communications and for generator power. So that's being addressed separately.
Madam Chair, the question I have, and council, you'll have to probably straighten me out on this, because I'm probably gonna be all over the place. My question is, we need to move on the jail generator. So it would be possible tonight for us to say, we're gonna make a motion that county administrator and chair, we give them, authorize them up to $250K to move on the jail generator if we can get it done. That way we don't wait a month to come back and have to visit this. We can get the jail generator coming now. Does that make sense to anybody but me?
No, sir,
Well,
it
it
makes
makes
sense.
sense.
My only thing is I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think for 250K we're gonna get.
Well, let's set it higher. That way we're not waiting a month to, we're about in a situation to where we're gonna be in a bad situation at the jail with the generator. So that's the reason I'm saying, say 300,000, whatever you think the number is, but set the ceiling to where these two, they can pull the trigger on it. Hey, Bob gets it, everything's set. They say this is what it is. Okay, well, the board approved it up to this not to exceed amount and get it done.
Do we
Rather
have
than waiting a
three-
month to come back.
Do we have 3 quotes on?
Well, this is off the sheriff's contract, so
Okay,
we don't
okay,
have to get the
okay.
quotes on it, unless you want us to.
Is that
It's a
doable?
big- It is. So what the motion would be is to authorize the county administrator to proceed up to a certain amount.
Right.
And up with the county attorney's approval of the contract.
That,
And then it doesn't have to come back to you.
What
Make
amount
that in the
you
motion.
thinking, Commissioner?
300K, you think 300K?
let's do it.
Not to
So-
exceed.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed, so that's the motion. Allow the county administrator to move forward upon county attorney's approval.
And
Not to
authorize the
exceed-
chair to sign the contract.
And the chair to sign
without
the
having-
contract.
Without it coming back to the
Amount not to
county
exceed
commission.
300,000.
Yes, sir.
There you
No,
go.
No, just for clarification purposes, that's a new generator, diesel, with an ATS.
Correct, in a 2,000-gallon belly tank.
How many days you wanna run for it?
They said, they gave me a figure, I think they said three days on that tank.
72 hours. Okay.
Commissioner Iglesias, I hear you running. Do you have something you'd like to say?
Nope, I was just ready to vote.
Okay. I need a
And then,
motion.
and then I'll ask something about the high school, but let's do the sheriff department first.
Okay.
I made the motion to,
I need a second.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Will, second by Commissioner Howard. All in favor?
aye.
Motion passes. Motion passes. Okay, you can go forward now.
So as we're looking at these generators, Commissioner Byrd, you made a comment of having a stationary generator at the LaBelle High School. With the LaBelle High School being replaced at some time in the future, and I'm not going to say the near future, but I know that Michael Swindle's working on funding for that. Maybe we need to look at if the new school's already going to come with a generator so that we don't spend money on a permanent generator knowing a generator's coming in. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, and I hope in the future that any and everything that's built would have a generator. So, You know, so we just trying to correct what's not correct at this time. Thank you.
Y'all said, not to belabor the point, but y'all said that like Clueston Middle School has a generator there right now,
But it's.
but it doesn't work.
That's the one that sits out by the football stadium.
Yes, sir.
So that's, yeah, I wouldn't,
And East Side has one, doesn't work. West Side has one that works, but won't run anything because it's the wrong phase.
right, there's two sitting there, yeah.
So we can move some of these generators around. I mean, they're old, but we could reuse them.
Are they skid mounted or are they trailer mounted?
They're skid mounted.
Skid mounted.
We had, I remember the Clueston Middle, it's been a long time ago, but we've had multiple people go out there and look at that generator to see if it could be repaired.
At Clueston Middle School.
And it was gonna be, yes, Clueston Middle School.
They
And
bought
it,
another one for the
it
price
was
that they
a
were gonna
long
raise
time ago, and it was gonna be a lot of money to
And that's actually what
repair
the
or
vendor told me. He
replace.
said it's not worth
It's
fixing
not
some of
worth
them.
fixing.
We have visited that many times.
Many
and
times.
that's the reason we started using the other portion of the school and bringing in the trailer generator.
Right, and then ultimately ended up at Clueston High School because they had a generator.
Right.
And that's why it ended up at Clueston High School
In
for
the
that
high school,
reason.
realistically, in LaBelle, you're looking at 7 to 10 years. It's not gonna be next year thing. I mean, realistic.
Yeah.
And the whole key to that is too, if you wanted to put a permanent generator there, you pick it up and you move it when you're ready. That school's not going away, it's gonna be a middle school. It's not going away. It's just gonna be a middle school, so in the future is they're gonna repurpose it. The one going away, what I understand, is the LaBelle Elementary, so that school's still gonna be there.
And Mrs. Davis, one of the things that I would really like to see with these new generators and the ones that are operational now is a good, solid preventative maintenance, monthly, quarterly, whatever it may be, and load test annually, whatever it takes to have a solid plan to know they're gonna work when we need them.
I know they was doing that in-house. They was being done in-house. I can't say if it was accurate, but I can say it was being done
So we
in-house.
were gonna ask for a quote for that, with permission to move forward, but we also have talked to Shane, to see about his mechanics doing it also in-house. And then, once we get that information, as far as the quotes, we would look at that and see what that might
They
look
won't
like.
be able to do the load test. And that's something that is critical. I mean, the generator could run. We've unfortunately ran into this. We've drug the generator out, got it all there. Never was load tested, but the motor ran great, and then we had no power.
And
So
we
that
did-
needs to be part of your maintenance.
Yeah, we
needs to be
could,
part
we
of that as a
could
load test.
purchase a load test apparatus for the mechanic if we decide to go that route.
No, we shouldn't have a regular mechanic putting a load on a generator and testing it. That needs to be somebody that knows what they're doing.
Technician, that's right.
So we'll bring back that quote.
But I recommend y'all putting that into a request for quotation as well. Once a year, putting it under load, and then a quarterly maintenance program. The quarterly maintenance, as long as you trust, that obviously you just got to verify it all on how well we're doing it. I'd put it on a year probation and say, okay, if we actually followed through and we have 4 checked off dates on it, then yeah. And then I would have your mechanics go with them on the load test to make sure that everybody's on the same page and they feel confident that, yep, they all went through it. And I mean, that's a full 2 days, maybe even 3, for a vendor to come through and test all the generators that would be in the county. Minimally, it may even be longer than that.
So for the trailer generators, do you guys want to hold off on that, or are you want to?
So let me tell y'all where I am. I think that your biggest concern was the sheriff's office, and I think we moved forward with that. What I would just love to see is a few more details. I'd love for you to talk with your consultants and then come back with us with a more formidable plan.
And prioritize, because we know we might not be able to do everything at one time, but the most significant place.
Madam Chair, where did our administrator told us that we had $1 million set aside. Where did that number arrive at?
It was $1 million estimate. We knew we needed generators, had no idea.
Talked about
It
it
was,
too, yeah.
it was $1 million that we set aside out of COVID dollars for
Out of
generators.
COVID dollars.
Mhm.
So, and that's it. I mean, I want to know
That's-
what we're doing with everything.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what we had set aside for generators. If they come into, I mean, we don't have another $1 million.
Yeah.
If it ended up being another maybe 100,000, or I would stretch it to say 200, maybe
Yes,
not
ma'am.
even that. We'd have to go back and look and see if we had any.
Like Fort Deneau doesn't have a system there right now, right?
No, sir.
That's a trailer.
Right,
Right.
it's a trailer generator.
Yes, sir. You know, I think Fort Deneau is one of those classic examples of a Band-Aid that we hold off, and that needs to be in the new bridge or the rehab, whatever happens. You know, that needs to be a $500,000 line item on there. That's what it is. You know, it's one of the most common things that we replace: submarine cables and generators. You know, it seems like anytime you do any kind of rehab on a bridge, those are the things that are replaced. And you know, it's like every 10 or 12 years, you'll see one or the other come on. Fort Deneau happens to need both of them really, really bad. So,
Bob, in your list here, where exactly what was your priority as far as list on that? Did you have that as, was gonna put this generator here, this one there?
Just what I showed you earlier.
that is,
Yeah.
it is
That-
sheriff's
that's your
office,
list.
courthouse, and so on.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Those are the critical infrastructures that we probably need to worry about the most.
Yes, sir.
Plus the shelters.
Yeah.
So the question I have, the health department was purchasing the generator, wasn't that correct?
I thought so.
Yeah, we're waiting on that one. They haven't delivered that one yet. That's been purchased and we're just waiting on delivery with that
But
one.
Yeah, the switch and everything was there.
Yes, sir.
So that one, okay. I thought so, I just want to make sure.
Sheriff's Office, Courthouse, Shelter 1, 2, 3, and 4.
What's your
Correct.
shelters?
Just, yeah.
But see, if we only open up 2 shelters like we did during Ian, then we'd have those 2 generators to put somewhere else if we needed them. That was my thought process. So as far as generators go, the shelters are important, but we're not always going to use 4 shelters, depending upon what the circumstances are. Like Ms. Davis said, if it's the east side storm, we may not need to open up the shelters over here, but just the ones in LaBelle.
But on these, you say the middle school has no generator, but that trailer generator is that generator. Pioneer Community Center is a trailer generator that sits there. Twisted Middle was a trailer generator, so the ones, Country Oaks was operational, all it needed was a fuel tank, and it was running, so is it down now?
Yeah, it's not running.
It's not running at all?
No, and as far as I know, and this was from the maintenance people with the school board, they said the one at the high school here is not running either.
Well,
I have no
Lewiston?
idea, yes.
Okay, because Country Oaks was running, it just needed a new fuel tank.
Alan, I talked to him about them today, and he said it wasn't.
It's
The
down?
fuel tank, you know, they went and we've had
So we had
several
a temporary
people
there,
out
but-
there as
yeah.
well, and, yeah.
Yeah.
But that one's so old, we're just waiting on that one to fail, even if we had a fuel tank there.
So what was the lead time? What was the 12-week lead time?
The
you're
12-week
telling?
lead time is for the trailerable generators.
And so that was the other reason I was wanting to move on those as well.
Yeah, those are gobbled up everywhere.
So what's your lead time on the one for the
Well,
jail? Bob?
weeks, we could get 'em
25
in
weeks on that one.
How many?
25.
So we're still going to be leasing or renting?
for that long. Right now, it was borrowed. Right now, we're just the
At
state.
the sheriff's office?
Yeah.
that was provided for us by the state. I've asked them to reconsider and let us have it longer. Haven't heard back from them yet.
So we asked for an extension, so that one needs to be right away, and then the trailers were 12 weeks, which we felt with the supply chain and all that, we were kind of wanting to jump on those if we could, so that was the thought process.
The one that we have at the sheriff's office right now, is it Division of Emergency Management?
No, it's Gardner. It's a rental from Gardner. They quoted me $6,000, $6,500 a month to rent it. Now, LJ said that they have a 200 kilowatt generator in Cape Coral. It's got 71 hours on it. They said they would rent that to us and then deduct the rent from the purchase of the generator
If they don't
after 4
extend it.
months, if they
Yeah.
couldn't get it in 4 months.
Yeah. If the state were to.
No, I understand,
right.
yeah, but I mean, at least we're not throwing money away.
Right,
That'd be money we're actually putting into a generator rather than $6,500 a month that's
Right.
not coming home back. So.
I also think that, didn't they, I forgot what the price was, but I thought they said they would sell that one to us for 7,000? 70,000?
70, I think is
70,000.
what you told me.
For a 200 kilowatt generator on a trailer. It's sitting over at their office in Cape Coral right now.
How many hours on it?
71.
Some of these generators are 30 years old and they got 50, 60 hours on them.
Yep.
Because they cycle, they run 45 minutes every now and then, and that's it. But they're,
Any more discussion? We already gave a motion for the jail. So do you need a motion to move forward, with the other ones?
I don't,
Madam Chair, I think that this is a really good discussion. I think that y'all have the ball rolling in the right direction, and you're
been a long
just gonna
time coming.
bring it back to us
Yeah.
with more clear, concise, and if you need more dollars and cents, let us know, and we'll kick, scroll, scratch. See what
Only
we can
thing I ask is that we prioritize, to make sure.
Maybe we can just give the
After the jail.
Komatsu back and get a generator.
Just for my planning purposes, y'all don't want to put trailer generators at the schools? You'd rather have stationary generators?
Well, it doesn't sound like that's in the cards, though. You know what I mean? And then the fact too, Bob, that we have those generators at facilities. I mean, I want to ask so many questions about how does a critical piece of infrastructure like that just sit by to a point where it becomes destroyed. That hurts my brain. But it's other people's money, I guess, so we don't have to really stress about it. But at the, on these, how much are we going to actually use them, and how good are we going to be at protecting them so that they are operable, and being efficient. This kind of helps in a number of different ways, because when you do have that company that comes in that wants to put them on the load bank, they can report to one facility, or they can report to the East Road and Bridge area and the West Road and Bridge area, and they can test every piece of infrastructure that we have right there. So that's a huge thing to consider. The other points that y'all brought up with storm hits one side of the county, we can roll over there. Those are great things to consider. The other concern that I have is what are we really running? What is our goal here at the end of the day? You brought up what you said about that we only run lights and receptacles and stuff like that. That's not. I didn't understand that. I thought that these were just like when a hospital goes down, a hospital has to have the capabilities. Nursing home has to have the capabilities. I thought it was the same way, and that's what I'm used to. You want to be blown away? This is no exaggeration. South Florida Water Management District has 3 generators in one facility on S191 that could run Okeechobee County. They could run the county. I mean, every household there, they have them in one of their pieces of infrastructure. People say, oh, you're crazy. No. You put a soft start in, and it will run everybody. That's how much KW they have sitting in those things. And so that's the world that I'm coming from, and then thinking, we're only trying to run some lights and receptacles. Well, what are we really, why?
Well,
Yeah,
I can
think we
give
have
you-
to do better than that.
I can give you the honest reason why is we don't want people wanting to stay at the shelters. We have to get those shelters back open for school.
Okay,
So-
but school has to be able to be opened.
Right.
And so my brain just keeps going back to your catastrophic situation. I will kick you out on your head quick to get our school back open and get us back to normalcy. But are we able to actually do anything with the school if we can only run a building?
Well, we wouldn't use the schools again until the electric came back on under this program, because these cannot do that.
But I understand what you're saying, the type of generator you're talking, we're gonna spend this kind of money, but it only runs half of the school. It does not run everything, so
Yes,
what's the
ma'am.
purpose of it?
Yeah.
If it's only gonna be used like that. I can see ourselves doing maybe A, which is 1, and then make sure we start looking at something stationary at every shelter, and not just put the money and it sit there. But I can deal with us having to move from side to side, but I wouldn't do any more than 1 and try to work on something stationary.
to run a whole school, what are you talking about?
Oh, it would be at least the 350 kWs.
So that's
I
what we're
think it's a
looking
little
at,
bit,
or more.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more.
I think it would
but
be
that's still-
more.
It
I don't
depends
think
on
that-
the size of the school and the amount of electricity that it would draw. But yeah,
and what all
at
you
least
want
the
to run.
350. Right.
What all you want to run as well. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So that,
Understand now, in your critical needs shelters, they don't run an entire school either. They run portions of the school under air conditioning and power, complete power. So even those shelters do not run an entire facility. West Glades, it runs a portion of the school where they can put critical needs patients. And the Nobles building, same thing. It would run the AC in a critical needs situation. The Nobles building would. So none of these shelters are set up for that. They are temporary shelters, exactly what they are.
So
In a
basic-
perfect world, we'd love to run the AC, but that's just not the way shelters are set up.
So basically, the one that we do need that at is the courthouse and the jail, not the schools, because it's a temporary solution during the time of a storm. So
Miss Bird, Madam Chair, I think we do this. I think we've potentially slayed the biggest beast that you had you're concerned with the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
I think that I think you all put your heads together off of visiting with your consultants, come back with us with a formidable plan, and I think that we move towards, like, every other year making a major capital improvement in the event we think that we need to have that, and we all decide. And then it's the conversation needs to happen, us and the school board, and we need to say, guys, what can y'all pony up, and what do we want to run? You bring a very valid point up when you say we don't want to make it too comfortable, you know. But my whole concern is we have to get back to a sense of normalcy as quickly as we can, and that means we need to be able to fire up at least this portion of campus and have it to where they can kick air on, you know. That may mean that we have to take 4 of our trailer mounted generators and go to certain, you know, satellites there, and then we wire things in and we get after it, you know. That may be that. And we have a gas system in the cafeteria, and that's the way it is. I'm just looking at it from a worst case scenario. You know, I just keep looking at how do we keep critical infrastructure from operating. That's it. So
Well, one more wrench in the generators are all well and good, but we have to move our paramedics every time there's a storm. So before we start putting them another generator down there, we need to make that a place where they don't have to leave.
We're not putting another one there.
No, not at
EMS.
the-
No, I'm just talking, my point is, that generator will run that building, it'll run the air conditioner.
At
But with no one there, it doesn't matter, there's no one can stay there because of the structure, integrity of the structure.
Well, we put them at the shelters now.
I know,
I mean, because you've got a large population of folks there, and if there's an event during a storm, they can't, you know, roll after the winds are a certain, you know, speed, and so then we've got folks there.
no, that's just us idiots out there getting blowed off the road.
So you
Thank
heard
you,
it.
Bob, we appreciate the effort you put into this, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? So we have our direction, so, okay, thank you again.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Davis, you still up?
Ma'am, the centennial activities, I did a staff report and just explained and proposed a possible option for you all to do sponsorships for local non-for-profits during the year of our centennial, May 2023 through May of 2024, for folks that are already doing events, but they could make them a centennial event. We could allow sponsorships, $500 to $1,000, or you could just decide, you know, you just want to do a certain amount. I was just putting that flexibility in there depending on the event. You know, a larger event, you would give more. Smaller event, you would give maybe less depending on the number of participants or something like that. They would incorporate the centennial information. A lot of it's historical information. We would provide banners and various different pictures and things to educate everyone on the history of Hendry County as a way to celebrate the centennial throughout the year for non-for-profits that are already having events. So we weren't going and, you know, trying to come up with all these various different events throughout the year. So that was for your consideration.
Any comments? Any discussion?
well, I saw it.
You need a motion? Need a motion?
Madam
Excuse
Chair, I'll
me.
make a motion that we approve the option 1 concept for sponsorships for Centennial.
Excuse me,
events.
just for a discussion with Iglesias. Raymond, you there, Raymond?
I'm good. I was just going to second that motion.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner House, second by Commissioner Iglesias. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you so much. That's it. Old business, any old business that anyone like to discuss at this time? This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public wishes to speak may do so at this time. By district, Commissioner House.
No, ma'am, I have none.
Commissioner.
I'm
Wood.
good, Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Wills.
No, I just want to say thank you to staff for all the work they've been putting in. We've got a lot of drainage stuff. I know you guys may have drainage issues, but my district's getting drier and drier, so it's kind of a good thing. I haven't got any sidewalks. Somebody got all of those, but you know, I appreciate staff, all the work they do. Tommy came to a meeting the other day and I know we pick on him a lot, but he handled that very well. We had a meeting with some folks out in Wheeler Estates. He has moved the ball forward with that. So I just want to publicly say thank you for all the work you put into that. You're doing a great job with that. I want to thank Ian. He's brought some stuff together for me for the Recreation Department, and hopefully that's going to come to light, and we're going to keep moving on that. So just thank y'all for all that you do. I know you usually just hear the complaints. So I just want to say tonight, thank y'all very much. That's it.
Commissioner Turner?
I'd like to see if y'all are okay with this, I'd like to see a gross overview of the budgets of East and West Rec. Ms. Davis, send out to all of us, just so we can see how we're sitting, financially on those. And just one other major thing, Mr. Parker, did you have a chance? I think you did to drive 835 and 846. I know you saw whenever you parallel Deer Fence Canal, it's pretty bad there. I know we got a lot of work that's getting ready to come underway there, but just anything y'all can do there would be great. And then we instituted the burn ban. Job well done. And you forced rain, so it looks like we might get some rain. So great job, kudos. But other than that, are you going to Tally?
Yes.
Are you going to Tally?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll see you up there, Miss Bird.
Okay,
I think I'm gonna leave after work tomorrow to head that way.
Okay.
So,
okay. While I have the opportunity, I'd like to thank Bob. I can't tell you what he done, but he did something for some people in the community. So, I don't want to throw him up under the bus. We appreciate it. The family thanked you also, so thank you so much. Other than that, I'd like to say thank you to the workers. They're doing a good job. I'm getting ready to say amen in a minute, so, but I'd just like to thank everybody. If there's nothing else,
what are you, sacrilegious? You can't say amen?
Right.
not that. I go to
Are you
preaching
worried
on
about getting sued?
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried
You
about
can
that.
deny your God in public?
I'm not worried about that either.
What's
going on? Let's get ready.
You might get something you don't want to hear, so be careful.